Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got gameplay for you from Call of Duty Mobile because the future of Call of Duty is mobile, and to be fair, the future of almost every major gaming company and franchise is also going to be mobile. So we're going to be talking a lot about mobile gaming today, its growth, future projections. We're going to be going over a lot of charts, facts, figures, numbers, kind of like a mini in-depth, and then we're going to zoom in to see how that affects Call of Duty, which is what's most relevant to this community. And I wanted to open up that discussion by taking a look at the pie chart of gaming share. This is Newzoo research. It's an estimate of the value of the gaming market and how big each section is. You can see the biggest chunk of this pie chart at about 45% is already smartphone games. And I'm not quite sure how that's different from tablet games. But okay, let's just say smartphone games is a little bit less than half and be generous. PC is about 19% and console games is 29%, with 1% being browser games. That's like little flash games, web games, stuff like that. So that's not very big. I don't know what tablet games has to do with it. But again, as you can see, smartphone games are the biggest player on the market. They are almost, if you included tablet and smartphone together, they would be a majority of the entire gaming market. And if you take a look at their growth rates, smartphones have really high growth rate, plus 5% year over year. Console actually did really good. It went up 8%, but this is also kind of new console launch season. That tends to decline, and you can see that PC is holding steady at 3. So mobile games have the biggest market share. They have the second highest growth rate, and it's probably going to get even faster in the future, and console will slow down as the consoles get older. And just a near total majority of the market. If you wanted to make money in the games industry, you would probably want to be making mobile games. What's perhaps better to visualize instead of a one-year snapshot is this revenue growth visualized chart I found on the internet. It does a fantastic job of it. You can see going all the way back to the 90s, you've got this big chunk of arcade and console and PC and little handhelds. And then you can see as we move into the future, arcade just about disappears. PC and console don't change very much, if not maybe grow a little bit proportionally. Handheld gaming is very much so on the decline. And if you zoom in on the very tippy top, you'll see a little bit of cloud and VR, which is just basically brand new. But then this red section in the middle, this mobile section, you can see is rapidly expanding and growing and becoming increasingly valuable over time. And I will say one thing that's interesting is that PC is making a slight comeback. I think PC is growing a little faster than console on average on this chart. It's a little different on the last little bit of information we had. But again, this indicates that mobile is the future. And if you just want to get fancy with it, this is quarterly gaming revenue by platform. And you can see that iOS is where the money is, that Android is not as big of a market. For those of you that are into cell phone wars, there's a reason for that. iPhones are a little bit of a giffen good. They're a little bit of a show-off good. They're kind of a conspicuous consumption kind of thing. You want people to know you have an iPhone to show off your money. You hate the people that have green text. And Apple has worked very hard to design their ecosystem to be a little bit pay-to-play. So iPhone users tend to be higher income, they tend to have more disposable income, and they tend to not mind showing it off, and that is all reflected all the way down to App Store purchases, though Android is catching up to them. So I just thought you'd find that interesting. Moving on to our actual topic of conversation, I think mobile gaming is going to be the future not only because of the money going into it, but also because mobile devices are getting much more powerful and sophisticated. For those of you that are dinosaurs like me, you might remember a time when mobile games consisted of Snake, maybe Solitaire, maybe a puzzle or maze game or something like that. And in the last, we'll call it 20 years, they have rapidly advanced to being almost as powerful as consoles. What typically happens is that by the end of a console generation, a cell phone is usually 3/4 the same power. So like at the end of the PlayStation 4's life cycle, cell phones are starting to catch up in surprising ways. So of course they have to release a newer, more powerful thing. And then you've got Moore's law about computation power increasing over time. And I think it's obvious to everybody that's gaming or in any technology that cell phones are getting more powerful in terms of processing power, and the software that operates them, your touch controls, the efficiency, the settings, how it renders graphics, how it does things, they're getting much, much more sophisticated. And developers are also just getting better at making games on mobile. Their graphics on Fortnite or PUBG Mobile or a variety of games that just look fantastic. I mean, CoD Mobile here doesn't look bad at all, whether you're playing on the PC version or on mobile. So I think the future of gaming is mobile. We're going to revisit this a little bit at the end, but now let's take a look at Call of Duty in particular. If you take a look at Modern Warfare 2's player count, it has about 80,000 players on Steam charts. And if you take a look at a different website that supposedly counts console numbers, I don't know how you get those, it says it's about 180,000 total players at any given moment. Compared to Call of Duty Mobile, I was not able to find daily player counts, but there are 10 million monthly active users and probably about 200 million total users that are less active than monthly. I don't know exactly how daily translates to monthly. I don't have a rubric for that, but I am going to estimate that 180K total daily players is pretty comparable to 10 million monthly active users. I think that the player counts for these two games are surprisingly similar, and Call of Duty Mobile is only growing and staying more consistent. If you want to take a look at the money, we can compare Modern Warfare 2 to CoD Mobile. Modern Warfare 2's total revenue or profits a little bit hard to determine. Activision and most big game companies like to obscure this with, oh, you know, we sold blah, 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 blah. What they have is they have sold about $1 billion of games in stores, digitally, whatever. Call of Duty Mobile cranks a profit of about $30 million per month and has earned a little bit over $1 billion since it was launched a few years ago. So the way it looks right now, it's that Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone and the big PC and console games do seem to make more money, at least in terms of total revenue and unit sales, than perhaps the mobile game does, but then you have to factor in development costs, okay? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 costs $250 million plus to develop. It's like a Marvel movie, versus CoD Mobile is run by Timmy, I think. It's like a Tencent division out of China. And I guarantee you, China did not spend $250 million on CoD Mobile. The main game, even if they make $1 billion a year, they have to spend a minimum of $250 just to get the product out the door, whereas CoD Mobile is just there. It's a live service. It's constantly working and going, and CoD Mobile has a lot of fan service to it. As Activision has begun clamping down on IW4X and SM2 and almost anything that's fan-made or modded, CoD Mobile isn't allowing fan-made and mod stuff, but they are doing fan service. You want a map, you get a map. You want a gun, you get a gun. You want to have a fun theme, you get that. Just whatever the fans want. The game definitely has loot boxes, but it also has direct purchases. The game has stat-changing weapons, last time I played it anyway, but it's just so many of them. You've got all sorts of different varieties. It's almost like choosing a different character class or something like that. Call of Duty Mobile has had a battle royale that is now the longest running Call of Duty battle royale, because Blackout, Warzone did not last very long. I think Warzone only lasted 2 years before it got converted to Warzone 2. CoD Mobile's been going for 3, maybe 4 years now. They've had the same thing going. They had ranked play very, very early on. That's been going forever. They have PC support. They kind of don't care how you play or what you do, and it's working really well for them. So basically, in terms of Call of Duty, mobile is bigger in terms of player count. It's growing faster. It likely, and this is not a proven fact, it's just my estimation, has a higher return on investment. It's got a very comparable total profit to the main game, and fans seem to like it more. They seem to be very happy with Call of Duty Mobile. Now, I personally kind of hate this. I don't really like mobile games. I don't like playing on my phone, especially not after the hand injuries. That's just an absolute tax on me. I never really like the controls. Also, basically, no mobile games allow you to do things like invert the look stick. Oh my God, how I wish that was a thing. And I just personally prefer my big boy PC games. I like gaming on console or PC. I don't want to sit down on mobile and grind it out and go through 800 advertisements just to get into the game, and then have to do something like, oh, you're out of energy or you're out of lives, you got to pay more, buy I hate that. I just hate microtransactions in general. But even if I don't like it, I think that's the way gaming is going. And I think it's going to go that way because I genuinely believe in the future, 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 years from now, cell phones will be powerful and universal plug-and-play devices. You may not have a desktop PC as we know it now. You might have a more persistent identity on a very powerful cell phone, and all you would do is, I doubt wires are going to be a thing, be wireless. You set it down somewhere near, or you just carry it with you and it automatically pops right up to the screen. You might still be using a controller. Some people might still like keyboard and mouse, but the PC and the cell phone are essentially going to be the same thing. And I think that logging in or booting something is just going to be as simple as docking a cell phone and you're going to be in. And there's only going to be CoD Mobile or mobile this and that, and you can just play it on different devices. That's kind of my personal opinion. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.